Hi folks, Eric from Hit Subscribe here, and I am doing yet another installment of the video series that I do for freelancers, often independent software engineers, but hey, freelancers of all kinds. This is now part of the, I think I probably would have mentioned this last time, but I've rebranded the channel a little bit to have Hit Subscribe Community, which is these videos, and then Hit Subscribe Core YouTube channel. And that's one where I answer client and prospect questions about digital marketing. So if that interests you, I'll put up a link to that channel, and you can go check that out and subscribe if you like. That's more focused specifically on like SEO and digital marketing questions, but figured I would mention it in case any of you are interested. So today I have a fairly simple question, but I want to look at it so I don't misremember it slightly. Should I add affiliate links to my blog, or is it not worth the money? So this is somebody who I believe, when they were asking this question, probably had recently gone out independent as a freelancer and had a website stood up, and they're creating content, I would assume. And they're asking about affiliate links on that site. So to answer that question, let me first, for those of you watching that may not know what affiliate links are, let me explain that piece. So if you have a website and you want to put affiliate links on that, what that basically means is you would engage in a deal with a site, like Amazon is probably the most common example of affiliate links. What you can do is you create an account with Amazon where you are essentially a reseller, and you have to be approved in order to do this. And there are plenty of other affiliate programs out there as well. But basically, you add links to your content to Amazon's website or to whoever's website. And those links are created in such a way that they can identify that you, with your code, are the one sending traffic to their site. So, and I did this once upon a time on deadtech.com. There's probably still some really old posts out there with affiliate links, but basically it would work this way. I'd write a blog post for DeadTech, and I'd talk about some consumer product or something, and I would add an Amazon affiliate link to the blog post. And what would happen is if somebody clicked on that link and they wound up on Amazon and they started buying stuff, Amazon actually would pay me for that transaction. Now, it's generally a fairly small fraction of the sale transaction, so maybe you get like 2% of it or whatever. I forget the specifics for Amazon or any of these other programs, but essentially you earn a commission. And pretty much without exception, in my experience, that money, it doesn't cost the reader anything. There's no real like inconvenience or problem of any kind for the reader when it comes to affiliate links. It's just that you as the content creator can use this to make a little bit of extra money. And I don't remember, kind of at the peak of DeadTech's readership is probably when I was doing this. I probably made beer money from it, maybe $100 a month or something like that. I genuinely can't remember. I'm sure it's trailed off over time because I stopped doing it. But that's what affiliate links are. It's basically a way that you can do a very, very low-key form of advertising and get a little bit of money from whoever's products you're linking to. With Amazon, it was usually a pretty low percentage and kind of a low-stakes scheme. There might be like affiliate deals where you're mentioning and teeing up some $1,000 product, and maybe you get a much nicer deal if you linked off to them and earned commission on it. I don't know. But that's what affiliate links are. It's a way to make money to monetize a readership. So the question here, should I add affiliate links to my blog, or is it not worth the money? The way that I would explain this, kind of in retrospect, I would actually go back and tell myself this, because it was interesting for me to learn about this business model, at least in passing. And, it was cool, I guess, to earn a little business money. But if I could go back and give 2016 Eric advice, I would say don't put affiliate links on your blog. You're trying to sell, 5 to 6 figure consulting deals. It's a pretty weird look to have affiliate links on your blog. And I'll kind of talk through a lot of this. So my answer to the question, should I add affiliate links to my blog, or is it not worth the money, is that I hate to do the old bait and switch thing here, but I would say that's not quite the right question. It's not really about whether it's worth the money or not. It isn't. You're not going to make a ton of money from doing this unless you have like millions of readers. It's a pretty penny ante, low stakes way to try to earn some money. So there isn't much money to speak of for it to be worth, even if you have a fairly large readership. And the look is not a great one. So I'm trying to think how to best, summarize how I would think through this if I were you, giving, 2016 Eric advice, or the reader asking this question. But it would really kind of depend on your goal. So if your goal with the affiliate links is to make money, you won't make much, and it's going to tarnish your consulting brand a little if that's what you're doing, if you're acting as a freelancer or a consultant, and I'll get into that in a moment. So you're not going to make much money. It's kind of a weird, slightly bad look. And I would argue that all in, on the whole, it is absolutely not worth doing for money at all. You would maybe want to do this if your freelancing and moonlighting or whatever was more of a kind of experiment, and you were trying to dip your toe in the waters and learn about different business models or something like that. I would only do it if your business website was kind of more of a hobby, and if you were trying to learn a little bit about passive income streams and different business models or something like that. If that's true, then go for it. You'll make enough money to buy coffee or beer or whatever, maybe, and you'll learn a little bit about how this business model works. If that isn't the case, if you're trying to be a service provider, freelancer, trying to grow an agency or something, like, don't do this. So to explain what I'm getting at here, let me kind of get into this idea of business models. When you start off on your own freelancing, what that business model looks like, you're probably billing by the hour, but maybe you're moving into some kind of flat price thing, or you're going to get into productized services or something. When you go off on your own and you start to sell services as a high hourly rate type freelancer, you are creating a service business, and you're creating a service business that is business to business. It's B2B. So you are trying to sell 5 to 6 figures, or maybe even more, of probably application development based on the question asker. But in general, maybe if you want, more and more people might be content creators, content marketers in this space, whatever it is. If you are trying to earn a living from kind of a low number of clients for high ticket engagements, you are selling services, and you are selling, to customers that are probably going to have 5-6 figures of lifetime value. So that's a significant transaction. It's a business to business transaction, and a business to business situation where you're selling services is a much different business model than the kind of business model that you would have with affiliate links. Affiliate links are a business model if you are running more of a media company. So if you are putting up a website and you want to grow it to be the size of, CNN.com or the New York Times, when you have that scale of readership and content production, then things like affiliate marketing, banner advertising, the sort of like low stakes transactional things that you can see on the site, those start to actually make sense at scale and be able to support a business at scale. If you are not at that kind of scale and you have no ambition of getting to that kind of scale, then you're not building a media company. And to pursue the kind of revenue that you would get by running a media company is sort of incoherent. So here's what I'm getting at. If you start a services business, you're going to sell, $50,000 app dev engagements, and you want, 3 to 5 of those a year in order to pay your bills. Your website is really maybe a little bit about lead generation, but your website is essentially probably there so that when you encounter people and they go look you up and they're kicking the tires on, should I trust this person or not? You want your website to look good for that evaluation. You probably want to, in as much as you're doing content marketing, you want to put authoritative content on there. You want to stake out a brand position. You want to kind of let people know what you're all about, who would make for a good client and who wouldn't, that type of thing. That all is just so materially different from a business model where you want to absolutely crank out blog posts so you can link to Amazon as much as possible so that you'll make 4 cents when someone buys a pack of light bulbs. The difference in what those websites would need to look like is just jaw-dropping. So if you were building a media property, you would probably want sooner than later to go out and get people to create content for free or maybe for cheap or something like that. You would want to produce a very high volume of content, and that is just not at all what you would want to do on a services B2B website. So I hope I'm illustrating the point here that what we're talking about is two fundamentally different business models. So if you are taking your consulting website that explains who should do business with you and who shouldn't, what your opinions and market position are, and what you want people to know about you if they are prospects, if you take that and you also start instrumenting it for affiliate links, you are using a marketing asset that is intended to help you win high stakes business and kind of making it do double purpose for a really penny ante business model. And what do you imagine that looks like to anybody who's an actual prospect that knows what an affiliate link is? Imagine being in this situation yourself. So you're looking at somebody's website and, I don't know, maybe it's a realtor or a kind of high stakes P2C professional that some of you out there might wind up dealing with. Say it was a lawyer. That's a good example. You're going out and you're looking for a lawyer to represent you in some matter, and that's going to be a very high stakes kind of purchase of lawyer services because that's not cheap. Maybe a divorce law or whatever is going on, and you're looking for a lawyer that you want to represent you and that you want to trust. What would it look like to you if they were running banner ads and like hawking Amazon affiliate links? Because I know what I would do. I would leave that lawyer's website immediately because I would be wondering to myself, what kind of lawyer is resulting to try to earn a few cents off of me buying a light bulb on Amazon? That practice can't be very good. That person must be pretty desperate for money. So first and foremost, anybody that's aware of what you're doing with affiliate links, it'll just be a really weird look. It'll just seem like you probably don't have much success in your core business such that you're trying to stand up and hawk other things. Now, the other thing here, and I wasn't really guilty of this because it was kind of experimental when I was doing it, but if you are really trying to make a go of that, it might start incenting you to create content that really focused on product placement or that seemed pretty unnatural for a B2B type of blog or a set of landing pages or something. Meaning, if I'm going to your website and thinking of hiring you as a freelance software developer, and you're talking a lot about light bulbs or something, even if I don't know what an affiliate link is, it'll seem weird. So there is a danger that this side hustle-y thing that you're trying to do is going to creep into and sort of pollute your content marketing and your site copy and so on, because you're trying to do these two different things at once. So generally speaking, you need to think about what this is going to look like to a prospect, and you need to think at whatever level they're aware of what you're doing, how is that going to seem to them? Because that $50,000 engagement that's on the line with a prospect is worth, more than the next 8 years of Amazon affiliate links are going to be worth to you. So doing anything with these really kind of low stakes type of side hustle-y things that puts your core business at risk just makes no sense from a risk reward perspective. So that's really kind of what it boils down to. It's not that it's not worth the money. It's not worth the potential for opportunity cost and bad look that it is going to represent for you as a freelancer. And I think it's worth calling this out. I was actually talking about this in the Circle community maybe a month or two ago, that I see this a lot. There was Pat Flynn, who did Smart Passive Income, and it was a guy who got laid off. And, I may not be getting his story entirely right. I'm kind of going by memory. I remember listening to his podcast like 10 years ago. And he just started trying out like all kinds of different side hustles to make passive income. And I imagine affiliate linking was one of them. Banner ads, whatever people do. There are all these different types of business models that you can run, starting communities, do a podcast, monetize it. And I think that especially among software developers, there can be a tendency to go off on your own and get it in your head that kind of economizing and using your website for like 4 different business models all at the same time, that's just efficient. Why have one business when you can have 4 businesses? And I kind of get the reasoning here, but I can't stress enough how off this makes you look to anybody who's coming on to your site, and just asking sort of basic questions. Like if you're, I think this is what I was talking about in the community too. If you are, let's say, selling some kind of info product, like video course that you've created for like $1,000 that's highly specialized, cool. But if I'm on your site and you've got affiliate links and banner ads, the thing I'm thinking is like, are you struggling with course sales? Like, why are you hyper monetizing all this stuff? And if you're selling services, that dynamic is even more pronounced. And then if you're selling services, but also kind of like a $50 info product, it's like, why don't you just use that info product as marketing instead of trying to sell it? Like, use it to go get leads. So it starts to either explicitly, if somebody is experienced with and savvy with business models, it starts to explicitly seem incoherent and like you don't know what you're doing, or it can just be more implicit, and prospects will land on your site and say like, I don't know if I can put my finger on this, but something just feels off about this. It just feels like, am I thinking of like Lionel Hutz in The Simpsons or something? It just feels like you're trying to hawk absolutely anything and everything, or maybe like Krusty the Clown. I don't know. It's just got that like, I'll, kind of endorse and do anything for money energy to it. And that's just not a great look. So if you are a freelancer and you want to be in services, what I would suggest doing instead, forget about affiliate links and advertising. Any money that you make from it is probably going to be more than offset by it working against your marketing and positioning. So forget all about that. What I would recommend to people going off on their own and doing business-wise would be to treat a business model the way a software engineer might treat a tech stack. So unlike the smart passive, I mean, it worked out well for that guy, but really what he did was just, whether he meant to or not, he did one business model, which was to build a media company. But like, forget about like this, I'm going to do all the things at once or whatever, because that's kind of like saying you want to learn programming, so you're going to learn every programming language at the same time. It's just not a good approach. So if you are on your own as a freelancer, you have, whether consciously or not, you've chosen to be in high ticket B2B services. If that model works for you, great. You can start an agency, you could remain as a freelancer, or you could think about an evolution. And a natural evolution, once you've been doing freelancing and services, is maybe productized services, or full on starting an agency. So understand what business model you've currently started to do, and then look for business models that are related to what you're doing. So look for another business to business model, or look for something that looks and quacks a lot like services, like productized services. What I wouldn't do is go and try to simultaneously learn about high ticket business to business services and also extremely low ticket business to consumer media property. I mean, it's just, those things are so diametrically different from one another that there's very little overlap in your learning about business. The only thing that really overlaps is that both things kind of happen to share your website, but that really, it's not as economical as you think. So I would avoid the affiliate linking here, in general, and just anything else that doesn't make sense with your business model of services. Just forget about that stuff. It's not going to be worth doing. It's not going to be worth learning about. It's not going to be worth spending your time on. Focus on generating more leads for your service business. Focus on learning about how to conduct and run a services-based business. Concentrate on your business model, on what you are doing, and try to make that work for yourself. So I hope that is somewhat helpful, if maybe a little, soapboxy here. I don't mean to rant. I mean, for what it's worth, no judgment here. I just, I did affiliate links myself. I get it. I would be giving myself from 8 or 9 years ago this exact same advice. Like, don't bother with that. It just isn't worth it. So I hope that is somewhat helpful or beneficial for some of you out there, and I will catch you all next time.